Good morning, everyone. It's Matt with Downrange. All right, we're back here working on the P40 Warhawk project. Thanks for everybody who's been kind of jumping in on this up to this point. What we're doing today is less work on the P40 and more on some other supporting things. So the fuselage is getting to the point where there's not a whole lot more work to be done besides skinning it, and I might even do the wings before that. So what we're doing here is assembling a kayak hoist in the garage to get that fuselage out of the way so I can get my construction boards ready to roll to work on wings. Because if I can't get those wing spars done before winter, there's not going to be a whole lot for me to work on plane-wise over the cold weather. So what you're seeing here to start with is just ceiling prep. I'm looking for all the cross members that are up there, so I got my little stud finder doing all that stuff. And figuring out exactly where I'm going to put that 2x4 cross member that's sitting there. So you can see me kind of prepping it and measuring where we're going to put those versus where the studs were in the ceiling. Make sure that this thing is properly supported with some big heavy-duty lag bolts. This fuselage doesn't weigh a whole lot, probably on par with about what a kayak weighs. Even when it gets skinned, it'll probably be on that neighborhood because this thing is very, very light, all things said. But we want to make sure we have a couple of heavy-duty lag bolts in this thing, mounting it to the ceiling so it doesn't go anywhere, because obviously there's some fragility to it. You're going to see that later in the video for sure. So right now we're just getting the thing marked and drilled, prepping that 2x4. So when it goes up, it will be a relatively easy install. As you can see in this video, I'm kind of changing things up a little bit. Everything is high speed in here. I don't have any shorter bits, and I don't have any self-narration. I'm kind of bypassing a lot of that stuff right now, at least with this video. As my development as a content creator kind of expands, you're going to see some of this stuff change. You're going to see more views, more close-ups, more narration. Instruction is specifically what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. But from here, you can see all the lag bolts are kind of in place, but I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly how to align this and make sure it's square and plumb versus the walls. I ended up having to mount a couple little tags up on the ceiling there, and you can see me prepping them right there, just little itty-bitty pieces of lumber, leftovers from the actual fuselage build. It just drilled a screw through them, regular drywall screw, mount those up on the ceiling so that they are the proper distance off of the wall, and then I don't have to play guessing games because I already know where the studs are, so the lag bolts are already ready to go, and you can see that I index off of those tabs at the top of the screen there, and that kind of makes sure and ensures that that's going to be where it's going to go. Now, you get to watch me going up and down this ladder and trying not to drop this 2x4 in my head, and if you want to see what very shifty, shady looking things are, that is a sheet metal steel countertop. That is the scariest part of this whole project, was standing on that. That was just one walking giant poor life choice. But hey, you know what? I didn't fall off the thing. I didn't die. It didn't collapse. All wins. And I even got the 2x4 mounted up with the little powered impact. Those little impacts are freaking amazing. I think I got the Bosches. Absolutely beating the snot out of it. They did a heck of a good job getting that mounted up. Now you can see me mounting that, or a moment ago you saw me mounting and marking where the brackets are going to go to actually mount this thing. There they are, getting screwed into place, again with that impact, with smaller lag bolts, because there are smaller ones that just mount directly into the 2x4. Those would not have gone through the drywall and the stud and the bracket, so I had to get my own hardware for parts of this, but getting those mounted up wasn't too bad. That front one's not quite perfectly square, but it also doesn't matter. It's just getting mounted up to hold that pulley system. The pulley is the one that handles all of it, and there's enough play in it that it's not going to cause any kind of binding issues, and I'll figure that out here as the day kind of progresses. Now I got to figure out these stupid instructions with this kayak thing, because it's one single picture to figure out where these ropes go, how they get tangled in, how you get to put those through the pulleys and run them properly, and I think it took me 2 or 3 different iterations before I figured out exactly how this was supposed to go in there. And then using a little bit of, once I get the ropes cut and kind of put where I want them to, light them up with the torch just to make sure they're melted and they're not going to fray and become a problem. But once I got it strung, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm still working on camera angles, so my apologies if some of them are a little wonky and you can't see everything perfectly in some of them. Everything on this is kind of a work in progress. So I'm trying to figure out where those cameras need to go just to provide better content and better video, period. But this is one of those where it's kind of useful to see both angles at the same time. Like I said, I'm working on better pictures, better narration, and better everything together, all together to make these better videos. But you can see me tying those 2 pulleys at the base, or the hooks for the pulleys at the base, just to make sure they don't spread out under load. So it kind of takes care of all that. So now here I am kind of prepping these straps for the fuselage to get it kind of prepped and ready to go so I can actually do a test hoist, and that's where I break the fuselage. You can see me roll that over onto its bottom. When I do that, the whole bottom J section actually cracked out, and I heard some more crackling and popping because that center section is probably the weakest section of the whole aircraft, and that's kind of what caused all those problems. But it has been fixed since then, but thank you everybody for tuning in and watching, and we will see you next time.